John, Stu, thank you. Big smiles for Chris Richards, and deservedly so. So we now have our third confirmed quarterfinalist here at this Gold Cup. The U.S. punching their ticket tonight. Mexico, Costa Rica went through yesterday. The other spot from Group D still up for grabs. The U.S. They have now advanced out of the group stage in all 18 editions of the CONCACAF Gold Cup. Rob Stone, Landon, Donovan, Mo Adu, Alexi, Lalas. We'll take you back out to Austin in just a moment. Mauricio Pochettino coming together at midfield with his counterpart, Hervé Renard, and the U.S. victorious 1-0. Mo, I want to start with you. At the end of game one, it was pretty clear. Malik Tillman, Diego Luna, they were the big winners for the U.S. Who is tonight's big winner?
Well, it has to be the goal scorer, Chris Richards. I love the fact that coming into this tournament, he made it very public, his intentions. Sometimes people shy away from that, and they let the game play out, and then they speak after it about how they've matured. No, he came into this competition saying, I want to be more of a leader. I want to be that guy. You heard John Strong reference that in the commentary, and his performance tonight reflected that. It wasn't just a goal. Obviously, that's a nice addition to everything else, but it was some of his passing out of the back, some of the duels, some of the challenges he made, last-ditch efforts in the first half to save what was a clear goal-scoring opportunity. These are the kind of performances that start to put that confidence into the manager's head that I am that guy in that back line, Landon.
As we head into the World Cup next year, right now you'd have to say he is absolutely going to be a starter. Obviously, things can change, but it's his to lose. In big games, Lex, and you see this every level all the time, in big games that matter, the plays in the box are what matter. And he made a massive play in the first half to prevent a goal, and then he made the play that won the game. And that is in addition to all the other great things he did tonight. I thought he was excellent.
Yeah, okay, let's see here. Richards, like you guys said, best player on the field for the U.S., even without the goal. Tillman, as unforgettable as was his first half, the second half was inspired and stellar. Love that. Berhalter does little things and a lot of little details, and certainly the assist on the goal. Freeze, clean, confident, and for this goalkeeping competition, that's good. Ajiman, I get it. It's a work in progress, but I'm here for the work. Okay, I want to see the progress, but he's still very immature, and it's to be expected for that. But
immature or
at this level?
Yes, at this level. It's just immature. There's a lack of ruthlessness up there, but he does things well. And if he can continue to do those things well and do them better, he injects himself into that conversation up there. Pochettino in general, I think I respect the fact that he kind of let it play out and let these guys try to solve it themselves. And then when he needed to make changes, he did. So all in all, it's not the goals that everybody wanted to see, but it's a result, and it's a result against a better team.
Much better team.
Yeah.
Your response to how the U.S. reacted to a fairly lackluster first half where Saudi Arabia just made it difficult, filled up all the space, and didn't allow any breakthroughs.
Look, there wasn't ever going to be a lot of chances because of the way Saudi play. We saw that against Haiti, too. We needed to do a better job of finding ways to create chances. I talked through what I thought might help them. I think Freeman a little higher did help, but ultimately you need Luna, you need Tillman, you need Ajiman McGlynn to be a little bit better and create a little more. And look, it's just going to get more difficult from here. Haiti's a difficult opponent, and then you get to the quarters, maybe Costa Rica or Mexico, way different.
The biggest thing for me is coming into this match, the U.S. knew if they win this game pretty much, well, not even pretty much, if they win this game, they're into the next round. So priority number one was figuring out how to win at any cost.
Yeah.
Was it the prettiest? Was it the same performance we saw against Trinidad? No. But I appreciate the fact that this group, Pochettino included in that mix, they figured out a way to get a result. Yeah. They kept a clean sheet as well, which you can never really take away the value of keeping a clean sheet. But ultimately, the other part of that is we talked so much about Pochettino and his influence on this team and how he's trying to reestablish the culture and shape the culture in his direction. You know what strengthens that and what reinforces that? Winning.
Yep.
Winning games does that.
Yeah, I don't think anybody hurt themselves necessarily, but I don't think De La Torre and I don't think Freeman helped their cause today. Freeman kind of, there was a moment there where it got a little bit too much for him. Still a good player, and certainly not giving up on him. And I just didn't think that De La Torre had a good game.
It was nice to see Tyler Adams get on the field. Had been battling turf toe. He came in 28 minutes, 11 pass attempts, completed 8 of them. For more, let's take you back to Austin. Jenny Taft standing by with our man of the match, Chris Richards.
On being selected man of the match. Look, you got the win. You're officially moving on. There was plenty of physicality tonight. How would you describe it? And really, ultimately, your reaction to the performance from the team?
No, we need it tonight. It was a tough game against a tough opponent. Props to them, but that's CONCACAF for you. Sometimes you got to get physical, sometimes you got to get nasty, and I think that's exactly what we did tonight.
You had a beautiful tackle, obviously the goal off the set piece from Sebastian Berhalter. How would you describe the play and what went on there?
Man, I don't even know. I saw the ball coming my way, and I figured I needed to get something on it. But no, it was a great delivery, and I just had to do what I had to do.
It was clear that adjustments were made at the break. How did you like the way your group responded?
Yeah, we had a few problems in the first half building out. They adjusted well. So at halftime, we just needed to get the right people on the ball, and I think that's what we did. We didn't need an extra person in the build-up. So we adjusted that, had more people in the pockets, and it helped us out in the long run.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you.
Chris Richards sliding in his second international goal. It was the difference against Saudi Arabia. The U.S. punching their ticket to the Gold Cup quarterfinals. The States will close out the group stage Sunday against Haiti in Arlington, Texas. The Americans, they only need a point to secure the top spot in Group D, and you can see that game live this Sunday on Fox. Rob, Landon, Mo, and Alexi back here with you. The U.S. knew this was going to be a major step up in competition after Sunday's very easy 5-0 victory over Trinidad and Tobago. Saudi Arabia, they had been to 6 World Cups, and they are currently in the midst of trying to make it 3 straight, and they certainly were a formidable opponent tonight. You know who's a formidable opponent? Alexi Lalas, brother!
Yeah, brother! Wow.
Yeah, Lex.
That was something. This is something, too, by the way. Chris Richards, we've been talking about him, and rightfully so. Look at the distance he makes up. Perfect angle to make the tackle.
This is just emergency defending, right? Sometimes it's easy, straightforward in front of you, but he recognized the moment and he made the play that made the difference in both boxes.
There we go.
Timing was spot on there from Chris Richards, and this was just inches away. Jack McGlynn getting higher on that right-hand side, and Ajiman, he's putting himself in the right area, just a little bit late to react to that one. Pochettino knowing that was a good chance gone awry. And then we see almost a mirror image from the opposite side. This time it's Max Arfson just teasing that ball in, and Patrick Ajiman making that run at the near post, gets a second bite at the apple. Just can't generate enough power on the header. But I like the fact that Ajiman's constantly a threat, good presence, good movement in the 18.
But you need more players in the box, Mo. More players in front of the goal to ultimately make the difference.
Early stages, second half. Nice timing, just beating Ajiman to the ball.
Just another look at Ajiman being a threat, being a nuisance, being a presence.
Our man of the match. Right? Set pieces, Lex. Sign of things to come, right?
Yes, this is just, this is the appetizer right there.
It's a tough header. He did well just to get good contact on it.
This is the Moon Boy against the run of play, trying to just slip in Max Arfson. A lot of just half chances that never really came to fruition. This will be Diego Luna again, occupying that left-hand channel. 1v1, this is what we want to see, right?
It's a foul.
It's a foul. Just because he doesn't go down doesn't mean it's not a foul. It's a foul. Come on.
No foul called.
No foul. I hear you, Diego. I understand, man.
What was he saying right there?
I don't know. It's some sort of sign.
Couple subs coming on here.
Look at this
62nd.
substitution,
Damian
by the
Downs,
way.
Tyler Adams.
Phenomenal substitution because, even though they had nothing to do with it,
Because
great service from the young Berhalter. And this finish, guys, this is a tough finish for a top striker.
Great finish.
Much less a top center back. Takes it on the half volley. Great contact.
by the way, what a delivery.
It's a great ball.
Right around the back, curling around, so difficult for the goalkeeper.
Keeping that ball down and getting good contact.
Like you
so
like it?
I loved it, man. I loved it. People love to celebrate. I love to celebrate with people and beer and goals. Goals are good.
83rd minute, Tillman to Downs.
And you know what? We saw subs in the first half. I mean, this was just a...
There's just bodies everywhere on the floor here in a second.
But I did appreciate, we saw in the first game subs come off the bench and make a difference. In this game, I thought Downs came off the bench and was lively, offered a different option in tandem with Ajiman, some good runs.
This moment in the 89th minute here, after we see this replay one more time, Berhalter, Tyler Adams involved in this one. What did you guys make of it? What did you take away from the U.S.'s reaction?
Well, I love the U.S. reaction, right? If your guy gets thrown on the floor, you go defend him. And I think that says a lot about this group. What I'm curious about is why are the coaches allowed to sprint out? You get a yellow if you leave your technical area, much less running out onto the field. So Hopefully there's no disciplinary action, but someone does that to your player, Mo,
Straight away.
better get in his face.
Yeah, this is Renard trying to get his players out of there, though. Then he gets involved, and Berhalter gets a yellow. Richards, your man of the match with the game's only goal. So the States preserve their record of having advanced beyond the group stage of every single Gold Cup. Jenny Taft, postgame, caught up with Tyler Adams.
Tyler, it's great to have you back in the mix. And I got to start with just the physicality. Obviously, Pochettino has talked about wanting to see the fight from you guys. How did you believe your guys answered that call in handling it tonight?
Yeah, we definitely answered the call. A lot of guys going out there and competing at a high level tonight, and I think that the performance speaks for itself. You know, there's not so many amazing moments, but sometimes you have to play games like that where you have to find that one moment where we're going to break them down and be able to score a goal. And Chris obviously scored a great set piece. Sebastian Berhalter obviously with an amazing set piece, so good at set pieces, and everyone was just out there competing for one another.
You were out there nursing a little bit of an injury until tonight. How good did it feel to be back? You have so much experience and leadership with this group.
Yeah, no, great to be back. I just love watching these boys go out there and compete. It's an opportunity for so many guys, and so many guys have taken it. So any role that I'm able to play and being a leader, and obviously my experience and quality speaks for itself, but I just want to be able to go out there and help the team.
You guys are through. What's next? What do you want to work on right now?
Yeah, obviously we have one more game in the group against Haiti. I think we're going to be able to work on a lot of good things in that game. So it'll be another tough opponent, but we don't want to look too far ahead. One more game in the group.
Thank you.
Yeah, you got it.
You liked that Richards comment, didn't you?
I love the confidence from my boy Tyler
Hey,
Adams.
hold on. He said my experience and quality speaks
Yeah,
for
you
itself.
go,
My
Tyler
boy,
Adams.
let him know, Tyler.
Hey,
Let
man,
him know.
good-
I love that.
Good to have Tyler
Love that.
Adams back. Lex, before this tournament, we were saying the United States, they've got to find two in the center of the defense, right? And it was starting to look more and more like Chris Richards was going to be one of those guys. In your mind, has he solidified his spot as one of those central defenders that we will see next summer at the World Cup?
Yeah, I think he absolutely has. So much so that even when I was doing my power rankings of the most to gain, I didn't even include Chris Richards because I think he is there. And I will say this, when he burst on the scene a few years ago, it didn't move me. I wasn't buying it. I think there was an immaturity. We talked about that. I think there was almost a lackadaisical type of approach, and that has changed, and it has changed dramatically. I think he'd be the first one to admit it, and sometimes it just comes with time. Playing at a high level, recognizing how serious it is and how serious and ruthless you need to be, I think that shows through. But what I also love is, you see that smile. That's part of his personality. You never, ever lose that. It's something that he needs. It's something that this team needs. And right now, he has absolutely solidified one of those starting back positions. And knock on wood, he stays healthy.
Do you know how often it is that athletes, not even just football or soccer players, how often you set goals for yourself, but you keep them internal? You write them down, you don't let them really be exposed to the world until you've actually accomplished that goal, and then you can reflect on it and say, hey, I did X, Y, and Z. He was bold. Chris Richards was bold. Coming into this tournament, announcing to all of us what his ambitions were, what he wanted to accomplish, and what he wanted to get out of this. And he's right on track. He's right on track to accomplish those things.
I think he's ahead of track.
Yeah.
He's an FA Cup winner now, too.
Another guy who's made a lot of headway this tournament, Sebastian Berhalter. A lot's been made of his dad, the former U.S. men's national team head coach, and Sebastian has fit right in. Jenny caught up with him post-game.
And a first career international assist for Sebastian Berhalter. Congratulations. It was a beautiful set piece. And the guys in studio calling the match, just talking about how effective you've been with the set piece. How would you kind of describe your ability to play that role and be effective?
Yeah, it's something I've been working on, with in Vancouver and training, and something they harped on that, the coaching staff said, this year I can be one of the best set piece takers in MLS, and, that's something I've been trying to put the work in, and it's paying off.
What was your reaction to the second half, the adjustments that were made, but really the fight that you saw from your teammates to ultimately get it done?
Yeah, I think we dug deep. I think the guys that came on had a big impact too. Seeing Tyler out there, it gives me energy too. His tenacity and his fight. It's fun to play with Johnny coming in, everyone coming in, closing in the game. It's what it's about. Maybe a little bit better control, especially towards the end, but it's a good result.
This has been a big opportunity for you, right? How would you describe it right now, this experience where you are at personally with this opportunity?
I mean, just taking it one game at a time. I'm living the dream. This is an honor playing for this country. So just trying to give it 110% every time I step in the field.
Thanks, Sebastian.
Thanks, Jenny. Appreciate it.
Lex, he's got the one game at a time. He's got coach speak already. I wonder where he picked that up from.
I mean, I think it bears repeating and emphasizing that, this is the son of the coach that just got fired.
Yeah.
And that's not an easy thing, even in normal circumstances, let alone coming in to the national team. And the maturity that he has showed both on and off the field, it's a tribute to his parents. And it's a tribute, I think, to Vancouver. And he's found a place where he has excelled on the field and looks very, very comfortable. But we've lived this with the Reinas, and it's not an easy thing. But I think what he is doing, I don't know if he ultimately is part of the 26th next summer, but he is constantly making Pochettino recognize his quality and asking questions of him. That's exactly what you need to do.
He's 100% in the conversation, 100% in the conversation to be on that team next summer.
Yeah, he is. He's
Right?
making Pochettino's job difficult.
Yeah, just planting those seeds.
That's right.
Planting those
and other
seeds.
guys aren't here, more opportunity for him. That's it.
All right, so next up for the United States, Haiti, Sunday, Arlington. Pochettino did not change his lineup from game 1 to game 2. What do you expect game 3? Again, they only need a point to lock up first place in the group. They're already through to the quarterfinals.
So this was basically the team he played against Turkey. And then he totally switched it against Switzerland. And I think he might be having some PTSD about changing things up. However, they now have a +6 goal differential going into this final game. So even if the States were to lose, Saudi has to make up a +6 goal differential.
They are playing Trinidad and Tobago.
True, but all we need is a point, right, to advance. So the question is continuity the most important thing? Is rest the most important thing? I think Tyler Adams absolutely has to come back in now. He will. I believe he will start the game. Other than that, I don't know. I'm like torn on it. They only have 2 days to recover, and then a game. They have travel, so it's tough. I don't know what he's going to do.
To me, this is a time that you rotate.
Yeah, I agree.
I think you rotate in this game, and I'm not even sure exactly who all is on yellow cards, but then you also monitor that situation because you don't want someone picking up a second yellow.
Luna got a yellow that we still don't know why, but he got a yellow today.
Right, he was in possession.
He doesn't
got a
know
yellow.
why.
Right.
But this is the time that you rotate. I would, bring Tyler in. Johnny Cardoso could start in this game as well. The guys that you're anticipating playing in that knockout round, you give them a little bit of a break.
Okay, I would say though, I think Haiti, even though Saudi beat them, I think Haiti are a better team than Saudi Arabia. And this was our best team here, and they struggle with Saudi. Like, you could lose that game if you don't play your full team. You can.
You could lose the game if you play your full team. So it's like,
True.
I think this is a moment where you can rotate. I do think.
There's competition within camp. And if you weren't part of the starting lineup, if you haven't played a lot yet, and you get that opportunity, then you got to grab it. And you have to live up to what has come. We talked about when we came on air, you don't want to regress. They did not regress. It was a much different type of game, but ultimately they came out on top. So again, another step forward. And you don't want to be on the field if and when that regression happens.
But the challenge is, this is a group of guys who've played together 3 times in the last 4 games. Now you mix it all up again. That's challenging. So I'm just not straightforward.
I think it's a soft mix-up.
Yeah.
Not a big turnover, but a couple bodies here, and I think we would all be surprised if Tyler Adams is not in the starting 90. 2 more Gold Cup matches coming your way tomorrow right here on FS1. It's a Group C doubleheader. We begin with the Reggae Boys. Jamaica taking on Guadeloupe, and then Guatemala versus Panama. The winner of that one could get a quarterfinal ticket, something the United States earned today. So Costa Rica, Mexico, and the U.S., they are already off to the quarterfinals. It took a while, but eventually Chris Richards able to get the game's only goal in the 63rd minute, sliding in a free kick, and the States are off to the quarterfinals. 2 more games coming your way. We'll see you tomorrow night, 7 Eastern, here on FS1.